Charisma. I don't know about you, but I've always found it strange that people try to define the qualities one must have to be charismatic. It's like asking which books you need to read to become smart, or where to invest your money to guarantee you won't lose it. If everything were that obvious, our system would have collapsed long ago. And every time I come across a video of some blogger explaining how to acquire charisma with 5 behavioral rules and refined facial expressions, I think, so that's how it works. All this time, people just didn't know that dressing neatly and clearly expressing your thoughts would win them attention. And here I was wondering where all these charismatic personalities were coming from. Turns out to level up such an imbalanced skill, the kind that helped people conquer countries, become unimaginably wealthy, and make millions fall in love with them, you just need to smile and gesture like a sign language interpreter. But that's not quite right. In reality, charisma is a powerful and, most importantly, universal skill. With well-developed charisma, you can succeed in almost any endeavor that involves interacting with people. I think charm and manipulation go hand in hand. Many people needlessly fear gangsters, jacks, or law enforcement. What can they do compared to an artist? While the jack was building his grappling skills, the artist was honing his charisma. And even though he didn't become an artist, he definitely left his mark on history. I believe the scale of charisma is directly related to the scale of a person's personality. In other words, their ego. For example, Brad Pitt is charismatic and Genghis Khan was an interesting figure, but Fight Club has an 8.7 rating, while Mongol film has a 7.1. Sure, you could say Genghis Khan wasn't lucky with his director, but Pitt wasn't even in the film. So what do our life coaches, who help us win people's hearts, say? I read somewhere that charisma is one of those traits everyone wants to have. Charismatic people have a special aura. These words are from the most reliable source possible, the first link on Google. You might say that's nonsense, but I'll tell you the part about the aura is absolutely true. I've come across people who try their hardest to be charismatic, speaking in rehearsed phrases to seem like an interesting conversationalist. You know, their aura reminded me of those who take pickup artist courses, or those who attend success courses, where they also practice public speaking and body language. Let's just say their aura was as colorful as the uniforms of children's event animators. John Wayne Gacy had a hobby of dressing in the aura of such people. I guess that's a kind of success too. Harry Potter's Patronus was a stag, but that didn't stop the boy with the scar from making friends and defeating Voldemort. You know, in the world of infosellers, books on charisma are second only to books on getting rich. Dale Carnegie built his career on books explaining how to shake hands and where to look during conversations to earn respect. There is some sense in those books, but only if the person already has charisma. As for ordinary people who, after reading such literature, start waving their hands and gazing into your soul while shaking your hand firmly, they come across as, at best, off-putting. As in any field, normal people can sense fake confidence. Confidence must come from within. You shouldn't cosplay a charismatic person. It's like putting an actor who played a fighter in a movie into the octagon with a real fighter. The outcome is obvious. I've also noticed that many confuse the concepts. A charismatic person isn't necessarily good-looking, well-read, or with a radiant smile like in a prostate pill commercial. Charismatic people can be absolutely anyone, from Steve to The Rock. History is full of millions of charismatic people, athletes, politicians, criminals, geniuses, and idiots. They were so distinctive and interesting that just watching a film where a completely different person plays their role and only imitates a small slice of their life can stir up a storm of emotions and great interest in that person. We feel connected to a person we've never even seen or heard speak. Many set them as examples, and some even emulate them, despite the fact that they've been dead for decades, centuries, or even thousands of years. You could say that their personality in the past changes the fate of people in the present. You can also admire people you've only seen on the internet, feeling their charisma across time and space. This tells us that all this clowning around with forced smiles and perfect posture is just another product that can be sold to those who don't want to dig deeper. You might say it's cliché, but the truth is that seeming and being are two different things. As they say, I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. If you've read or listened to tips on how to gain charisma, you're probably familiar with those wonder traits that supposedly make you the top one in charisma. Traits like being calm, composed, and rational. How many punks, rebels, psychopaths, and just plain crazies could be scratched off the list of charismatic people if we believed that claim? That's hundreds, if not thousands, of beloved bastards like Ozzy Osbourne, Dahmer, and Escobar. Sure, you can judge them, even hate them, but you can't deny their charisma. There are countless precedents where people themselves started cults, idolized criminals, and emulated them. Yes, even in cinema many are drawn to madmen like the Joker or Hannibal Lecter. And in anime, authors try to give both the antagonist and the protagonist a unique personality. As Disney once said, until a character becomes a person, you can't believe in them. No one cares about an empty shell. Perfect characters in works serve only as irony, nothing more. From this, we can refute the second claim that charisma is a set of specific traits. The keyword is specific. The traits can vary. From my experience, charisma is a combination of many factors. Factors that may be off-putting individually, but in a fierce combination, they play out in a way that can be studied in history books. After all, as they say, no matter how beautiful, smart, or talented a person is, if they lack charisma, the chances of being remembered are zero. Admit it, it would be strange if all the charismatic personalities who ever lived on our planet had the same traits. Good, bad, evil, or kind, brave, or cowardly. These are just our valued judgments. They have no bearing on a person's charisma. I believe that charisma can be developed, but not by such primitive means. Oddly enough, in our world, those who succeed are the ones who first develop their personality. How can you follow someone who chooses to be convenient for others instead of being themselves? If you stand for nothing, how can you have charisma? Of course, we all use pieces of our personalities, but only to form our own, not just to copy everything blindly. To become a person, you need to develop yourself first. Dress how you like, not just following trends. Speak in a way that feels right to you. Only by forming a complete personality can we genuinely interest others.